We have Sir Joseph the Baker here, and we have Alex Peña here.
How's it going, guys?
Are you guys super excited to get this started? We're going to be making some conchas. I'm looking forward to it. Look at, we already have some prepared. Going to be going in the oven pretty soon. We have 2 going on right now, Facebook, and we have Instagram. Welcome both you guys, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. We're going to go and jumping back and forth. So without further ado, sir.
How you guys doing? My name's Alex Peña, guys. So glad you guys can join us, and today we're going to be showing you guys the process and talk a little bit about the history on Pan Mexicano, but more importantly, the conchas, right? The 5 different categories, we'll touch on that as well. The reason we made these up, guys, is because I want to put these in the oven. I want to place them in the oven as soon as possible. That way we're actually pulling stuff out while we're making stuff in here, and we're all baking together, right? So we're going to start with filling these, guys. So these have been, I want to say they've been sitting here for about 30 minutes, right? So this is the consistency that we're going to look for before you bake it. You can see the separation here, guys, right? So you see that separation? That tells the baker, tells me that they're ready to go inside the oven. But before we do that, we're going to fill some. So we can call them Nidos.
Okay, so Alex, when you say their separations, when it look like they're getting cracked,
like
exactly.
Now, this separation here, you can see the design of the concha, right?
Okay,
and in this case, the design of the rose is this is actually a rose, a rosa.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and start filling some of these, guys. So the way this works, to make the Nidos, I'm going to go ahead and smash some of these. So don't be afraid to push your dough, right? This dough has a lot of sugar, guys. So we washed our hands, obviously.
Ooh, they're so pillowy soft.
Right.
So
So
soft.
as soon as I fill these, I'm going to place them in the oven because now we're playing with the devil here, guys.
Ooh.
So we're gonna go ahead and fill these diligently. So these fillings, tell me about these fillings, Grace.
Okay, so what we're using are fruit fillings from Baker's Bodega Express, and what Alex here has is it the cream cheese one?
This is the cream cheese, guys. It's a 4th of July theme, so we're gonna do cream cheese, blueberry.
Blueberry.
Let's place some blueberry here in the roses.
I like using these fillings. These are actually the fillings that you find from Baker's Bodega Express in Baldwin Park. It's part of their 50/50 brand of premium fruit fillings. What's good about these fruit fillings is they're actually good for cold, like for your pastries and cakes, but they're also diverse enough for you can put them inside pastries and different things like that. My favorite out of all of them is all of them.
Oh,
they're really no the Bavarian cream, but like the apple's really good, the guava's really good, the blueberry's really good, the fruit fillings are really good.
Can I put it in here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So gotta make sure we press it down firmly.
This is amazing. I noticed that Pan Dulce has a lot more of a different texture than regular bread, you know, with yeast,
right,
like cinnamon rolls and dinner rolls and stuff.
But you gotta remember there's about 26% sugar in this dough, so it's very resilient. It's gonna give you a lot of strength and cohesiveness. So it's not gonna collapse the way other regular cinnamon rolls would. Cinnamon roll has less sugar, it's more a leaner dough.
Right.
And I think we're good to go. So we're going in the oven, guys, and we'll jump back.
Going in hot, going in hot.
Right.
Right, so this is fantastic.
So let's hear. Tony, thank you for sharing. Thank you very much. How about using
that's another
tequila?
thing.
How about using tequila? Let's just jump right in from the conchas to tequila. Let's find out. Sir, can we use tequila in your breads?
Well, I would like adding the cinnamon, I would add the tequila after the second stage of mixing. That way, because tequila is high in alcohol, it will inhibit the yeast and gassing activity and slow your dough down. Right.
You know, honestly, that's great. I was thinking have the concha with the tequila. I wasn't thinking of mixing
the question is, I think everything yes tequila, just yes to tequila.
Yes.
But you know what's funny that you said that, because everything Alex brought to you was a science, and baking basically is a science.
Absolutely.
You know, and he's talking these kilograms and diversions, and so I'm like, I don't know. So to the home baker, we can get really discouraged, and it's fun to watch, but we want to learn how to bake it. That's where Alex comes in, because he's going to be able to break all his recipes down from kilograms and tenths of that to a teaspoon or to a cup, making it a lot easier for us home bakers. And we first of all want to appreciate the huge support you guys are giving us on social media. We're at 200 live views. The biggest form of support you can always give him is your social security and the last 4 digits of your PIN number.
Definitely.
The ladder, guys, the ladder. We're
Yes.
good.
No, I'm just kidding. So if you act now, I'm totally kidding. The best thing you can do is you can hit that share button. You know, hit that share button. It helps him grow, because he's got a recipe book that's coming out in a little bit. And of course, he gives his recipes freely, and we're helping us build up his social media. So if you're following us, let us know where you're following from. But through the demo, this is proofing right in the refrigerator.
Right, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Right, there it is, guys.
This is beautiful dough right
open
here.
the Pandora's box. We got to move because it's alive, right?
Okay, let's get moving.
Yeah, right. It's good time.
Share.
Here you go, guys. It's been sitting in the fridge. A lot of you guys have your dough ready, so let's bake together here, guys. So this is our bizcocho dough. This is a dough that's obviously well developed. We used an all-purpose flour today. The reason we did that is because that's more so something more common that you would see the home baker using. As Joseph has mentioned, I've converted all my recipes from an industrial setting to a home baker. We're gonna go at 60 grams, Joseph. You want to give me a hand? Yeah. Let me cut the strips for you here first. So we're gonna go ahead and scale these out at 60 grams, and then I'm gonna round them. So they're at 53. They don't need to be perfect. 65.
Okay.
Another thing too, guys, is grams.
If it's bigger, that one's
Let me add some flour here. Yeah, and the reason 65, there's a delta of 60 to 65 grams is okay, because you got to remember there's 28.37 grams in an ounce. So if you go 5 ounces off, it's a whole different ballgame, guys. So the grams, it's a lot easier, it's a lot more precise. So some people are asking me if I recommend a gram, a scale brand or something. As long as you get a scale that goes down to 1 gram, you should be good to go. Don't get something that rounds things off to 3 grams or 5 grams. You want to be as precise as possible when it comes to baking.
I'm trying to get this down on my one-time shot.
And it's not working.
No, look. Yeah, I don't know.
Not one time, sorry.
60.
¿Me pasa la manteca, por favor?
Sure.
Muchas gracias. So we're going to use some shortening in our hands, guys. Shortening is great for the hands. Just don't put it on your
Well,
face.
help me out there, player.
All right, here we go.
I'm over. You see me?
Yeah, right, struggling, right?
Struggling. You see me
There you go,
struggling.
guys.
You know those initiations when you get into different restaurants and stuff like that. They initiate you by doing blah 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 blah. That's what he just did to me. Come on in here, Grace.
Oh, we're good. Just
So
add
we're
some more.
going to round these, and we're going to place 6 on a tray, guys.
You're doing really good.
And after we place them on the tray, we're gonna cover these with some more shortening, guys. And the reason we're gonna do that is because we want the sugar topping to stick to the dough ball. So I'm gonna add some more shortening to my hand. And we're gonna cover these again with shortening and set them aside. This dough is cold. It feels like
Is
it's
it?
about 45 degrees
yeah.
Fahrenheit.
As soon as I'm weighing these at 60-pound balls, see, after a while, you kind of get the hang of it. Watch this. Grab one. I guarantee this is at 57.
58.
Oh, almost,
good.
sir.
But you know why? Because that's when you've done it for so long. Like when me and Grace bake and cook, she went to school for this. You're right. Oh, is that what we're doing? We're competing? Okay.
No, because you're gonna cut a finger.
53.
No, you're gonna cut a finger. No.
It's okay. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Grace, come in here, Grace, real quick. Wait some out. 60. See, the thing about Grace is, Grace has gone to culinary school and she has so many certificates, but she does this for pure hobby. She's a business owner. She owns a staffing. She has her own job and she owns her business. She owns her own business, but she does this for pure hobby. Is what I'm good at. She's graduated culinary school and stuff like that. So she's into weights and different things and using timers and stuff. I don't use timers for anything. I'm just so used to, doing stuff that I've got it down.
It's funny you say that, Joseph. When I was in the bakery, the bakers would just listen to the mixer, the friction, right?
Yep.
The friction factor, the development of the gluten strands causes the dough to become tougher, and you can hear it. It's
Joseph
actually
has a-
louder as it mixes, right?
This is a very
Good
interesting
times.
story about gluten, huh, Joseph?
Yeah, me being self-taught baker, where I learned how to bake, I didn't know what gluten was, but I was activating it in my banana breads, and they were bricks. And that's when I found out what gluten was and what gluten serves inside of a, it's good to know the science and what functions serve in the different things. How you doing? You're doing actually good.
Well, thank you, sir.
You got it down. No, you do. Look, watch. After a while, you got the feel of it.
So any questions, guys? Anything we can answer here on the
Yes,
fly?
what's going on?
We got any-
I'll tell you what, though.
Shortening or lard?
I'm using shortening, guys. I'm using shortening, vegetable shortening.
What's the difference?
Non-trans fat. Lard, manteca de puerco is higher in sodium, but it also it'll cause the dough in this case. The pasta will slide right off. It's kind of like using butter. Somebody asked me that the other day.
Okay, when you
use
keep
butter?
saying pasta, what is
I'm
pasta?
referring to the topping. I'm sorry. So the sugar
no,
topping.
I don't know, because I'm thinking pasta. I'm looking for some,
Spaghetti?
some fettuccine noodles or something.
Fettuccine Alfredo?
Yeah, oh. Oh, have you ever sat there and just thought about those breadsticks at Olive Garden?
Right?
Just
Yeah.
thought about them, those breadsticks. Oh,
Praline dough. So yeah, guys, basically if you use a lard, it's kind of like using butter. It's actually a 1-to-1 conversion, guys. So if you have a recipe that calls for lard, you can
Flour.
replace that with butter. 1-to-1. Typically for the 500 grams, which is a recipe that we give out, you're gonna get about 16 to 17 60-gram pieces. So in this case, I didn't really count them because I made the dough a few times.
Okay, let me, do we still need to set it aside?
We do not. Yeah, we can put that aside. So typically, guys, I let these sit a little longer. They're a little cold, but we're gonna go ahead and top them anyway, just for instructional purposes only. So we have some conchas that are coming out of the oven in about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and top these with a white sugar topping or the white pasta, not the fettuccine Alfredo. So basically, what you're doing here is you're gonna roll out the sugar topping to a log, and you're gonna be generous, right? Take enough flour onto your palm of your hands like this, and we're gonna smash this down. Place this over the concha dough ball, and this is a production line, guys. So I'm gonna do the same thing to all of them, and then I'm gonna come back and press them down and stamp them, right?
So do you know how many grams of the pasta are you using?
Let's go. Tell you right now.
I see. Oops.
So we're looking at a 60-gram dough ball and 23 grams of sugar topping.
More or less, yeah.
So typically an 80-gram piece at the end of the day without the moisture loss.
And Alex has been doing this for so many years. Here he could just measure it just by sight, and it's amazing to watch him work. You are a true master in this.
Thank you, Grace.
Yeah.
So, yeah, many hours here in the bakery, right? Good times.
So as far as Pan Dulce, the origin of it, you know, and bread, where did actually Mexican sweet bread, as I call it, you know, there's different names
Right.
for different. I call it overall Pan Dulce.
Right.
But you call it Conchas.
Right.
What's the difference between Pan Dulce and Conchas?
Well, Pan Dulce is a category of the breads of the world, guys.
Wow.
So and within that category, there's 5 different categories I was talking about earlier. There's the fermented dough category, and then there's the laminated dough category with and without fermentation. So that's category number 3. And then there's the masas batidas, which are the batters. So that's category number 4. And then, of course, the cookies, masas crecidas, quebradas, and those are basically the polvorones, the puerquitos. And we're going to go, we have a lot of work to do, guys. We have so much to talk about. But for now, we're going to go ahead and stamp these. And yeah, a little bit of history. Back in the 1500s, the Spanish brought the wheat over to Mexico, right? The conquistadores. But it wasn't until the friars decided, you know what, we need to transition this indigenous culture, the Aztecs, and what better way to transition a culture but through bread. So they brought the concept of bread baking. The friars did that. The missions out in Mexico, and as that developed, you had all this influence, the French influence, of course, that brought in the brioche, right? You have an evolution of doughs here. You have the French epi that eventually became the bolillo, guys. So this is a wheat berry here, right? Bolillo. So yeah, there's influence, the Moorish influence with the cookies. That's your evolution of Pan Dulce, basically the way things came overseas. The ingredients came across the Atlantic Ocean. The concept came up through Brazil. Some of the ingredients changed depending on the availability of ingredients. And now we have what we call Pan Dulce.
So these are the ones that we just literally rolled out, and
Right.
you have to let them set for a certain period of time, or
Yeah, like I said, typically you let them sit for about, I would say for about 30 minutes. I think that's what I have on the recipe guide here. But we're
already as dough balls?
right. But like I said, for instructional purposes only, we're going to go ahead and stamp them now. I think Joseph was asking me for a swirl.
A swirl or a
Yeah.
marble?
Right, or a marble. So we're going to do both chocolate and white topping.
It's incredible to watch you work, seriously, it's incredible. So we are gonna go, after these are done, we're gonna do start to finish
Right.
with the thing? Okay.
We'll make the dough, and that's what some of the followers already did. They already made the dough the night before. I have somebody that was reaching out. They're doing a baby reveal, so they wanted to do pink and blue conchas.
Oh, great.
And they wanted to know if they can keep them until Saturday. I said, well, so long as you don't eat them, I'm pretty sure they'll last. But if you guys want to place these in a container, you want to do that once they cool down. But you want the topping to cool down before you touch it because it's very hot to touch.
Like myself.
Right?
Okay,
There you go.
So,
Dakota, this is one of those times, okay?
So I'm gonna take the swirl stamp, and we're gonna give it a few stamps here all around.
Can I try one?
We made some of these yesterday.
Oh, okay. You don't need a lot of pressure, just somewhere.
can you
Right.
order those or can you make those?
You can order those from Baker's Bodega Express.
There's a
Oh.
Express, has has
Another
the
plug,
Conchas
Baker's
ones.
Bodega Express in Baldwin Park. Your number one stop for taking decorating supplies. Baker's Bodega.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna make the 4th of July concha, right?
Okay, very patriotic.
So we're gonna go ahead and roll these out in strands, right? We're taking the same pasta topping. So what I did is I added some liquid gel colors to these, and these are also from Baker's Bodega Express. So we're gonna make some strands here.
The gel color. Okay, so gel color is for the food, and the other one is for the chocolate. The candy color is chocolate.
Right.
The gel is for food. Okay, so
Yep.
it's a water base.
Yeah, there's also the regular liquid one that's for airbrush. So
yes.
so there's different types, but you want to focus here on the gel. And where's my bench scraper? Thank you. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this in half, guys. We're gonna be generous on the pasta today.
Oh yes, that's like for me. That's the best part of the
So
concha.
that's why you call it pasta, because they look like noodles.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna have to go with a swirl here, guys. This is actually what Joseph wanted the other day.
A marble one.
A marble, yeah, not a swirl. So we're gonna be generous with the flour, guys, right?
So adding that extra flour is not drying it up, right?
No, because we're gonna press this over the concha, and we want that to stick. So with that flour, it actually becomes like an adhesive, right?
So here you guys go. You know, for 4th of July, you got your 4th of July conchas.
So typically in the panaderia, you will not use a bench to flatten your topping or sugar topping, but for instructional purposes, only for the home bakers, we're gonna make it easy like this, right? And take that final presentation side and place that over the dough balls.
Seriously, that is the best part. That's my favorite part of the concha. Is the pasta without the sugar. Love it.
Again, we're gonna take a strand here of the blue.
That's
Or
your
a
favorite
strip?
part, the top part.
Right, totally.
So my favorite part is baptizing it in hot chocolate.
Or café mexicano, café de la olla. Café de la olla.
Yeah, guys, and the topping for this product here, the sugar topping, is only 3 ingredients. So it's a 3, 3, and 5. 3 parts sugar, 3 parts shortening, 5 parts flour. You can use powdered sugar. In this case, I use granulated sugar.
Okay.
If you're gonna package these the way that you guys see them at the convenience stores, you want to use powdered sugar, only because the powdered sugar is gonna dry up, and it'll give it more of a cookie effect. Where this product is very, very difficult to touch, and you'll see that. Well, you saw that yesterday when it comes out of the oven. But in my opinion, it's actually a better concha. Yeah, we're low key making French conchas here, guys. This is not 4th of July.
It's okay. We're gonna put some stars on it.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's a great idea.
Stars on it.
What country is that has almost those colors?
That's the French. That's the French flag there.
French, huh?
Yep.
There's so much that you can do with just the general base of the concha.
Right.
You know, with that colored one that you're doing, there's so much that you can do with just the base of it.
Right.
Well, it's like you said, someone asked about a gender reveal. That's also a great idea. You just color the paste with
The topping,
gel
right.
coloring
Right.
to whatever you want.
But you gotta
So
be.
could
You
you
gotta,
fill it with the colored wherever you wanted it?
absolutely.
Fill
Yeah.
the inside.
Yeah, that's how would you know the gender reveal? I mean, how would you reveal the gender?
That's a good question. Well,
Based upon those, maybe with a blue or pink cream inside?
right. Well, maybe it's more of a baby shower where they don't know what the gender is yet. Who knows, right? That's a good question. Or it's before the reveal, right?
Right.
I think we had we had that there with my granddaughter. I was on team boy. She came out team girl now, right?
So could you put the filling in the dough before you put the pasta? Is that possible?
You,
Or will that
you-
weigh it down?
you can, but exactly, you're gonna weigh it down. However, you know, if you're gonna swirl it in there, you want to kind of like spread it in there with a offset spatula,
Offset,
right?
okay.
Very thin. That's what I recommend.
So what do you guys think so far? I mean, once it comes out of the oven, it's amazing. The smell alone, it just draws you in. It's amazing.
What is your, out of all the sweeteners, what is your favorite? Like when you go to that Mexican market, Hispanic market, which ones do you go to first?
I get the elotitos, the ones that look like corn. Some people call it the elotitos or fish. I don't know why, but it's more commonly known as the elotitos, right?
Elotes, right?
Elotes, yeah. So I've actually made those.
You did.
Yeah, I made those also. I did a demo. I think the videos go up, and those are my
What's your
favorite.
favorite? Out of all the, what's your favorite?
It's actually a combination of both. So she's talking about elotes. That's a pan fino dough. It's a fermented dough as well, but it's a combination of pan fino and bizcocho dough. So you make different figures with that. It's called capote or cape or cloak. So there's tortugas. There's different figures that you agree with that. That's my favorite.
Oh, that's
Pan Dulce.
a good one too.
We made a star, and what I'm doing, guys, you don't need a concha cutter. Sorry, Manny. Sorry, Baker's Bodega. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna use cookie cutters, guys, right? You have these at home, they're in your pantry or in the kids' bedroom or something, right?
The kids' bedroom.
Right, so you got the small star, right? We're gonna press this down and then we're gonna go with the other one. I smell bread, guys. I smell bread. Oh yeah, we got 5 minutes.
So let me ask you something. Could you make that dough silver or gray?
Absolutely.
What am I thinking about?
You got cowboys over here, right?
Ooh, cowboy! Cowboy, yeah.
There you go.
Pan Dulce. I'll tell you what, they're going to be in Oxnard.
Right.
You're going to do your training. Send a couple boxes and let Jerry know you can make a couple dozen. You can be won't be laughing
A couple dozen, huh? $30 Conchas over here, right?
No,
check it out, guys.
Did a couple dozen for them.
Right, here we go.
Those are fantastic. Those
So,
stars are cool.
so I'm placing the stars on the side because we're gonna fill these later on, right, as they rise, and then when they rise, they'll be the nidos or the nest, and we'll have the filling in the middle with the stars on the side, guys.
Look at that.
That is dope. That is
There you
dope.
go. There's your 4th of July conchas, guys.
Right.
4th of July. Semper Fi, guys.
So
It was super hot. I've never.
his work is different from any other Pan Dulce.
Absolutely.
It's just the proofing on it. Look at the designs. Look at the texture of it. I mean, and I'm telling you, your work is different, bro. How you have not been featured on Food Network?
Oh, you're the Food Network, man.
You're right. I am the Food
You're
Network.
good to go, man. Good to
You're
go.
right. I am the.
Go ahead and share, guys. Keep sharing. That way, 313.
Keep sharing, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks, but you know what? That's what we're trying to do. We're going to be tagging Food Network, we're going to tag Generous, we're going to tag Oprah, everything, because your work is like separate from anyone else. You can tell your work, bro. This Pan Dulce, you got it down to the proofing part, to the baking part. You know,
We've got it down to a science,
It's all
guys.
science. It's
Right,
all
we got it down to a
science.
science.
One of the questions that they
Very
asked
hot.
was,
You can't touch
how
it.
long did you bake them for? Was it 30 minutes?
We bake them for 23 minutes in my deck oven. If you're gonna bake these at home, you're gonna reduce your temperature by about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're at 350. You wanna bake those at 320 at home.
Okay.
And you're gonna bake them for about 23 minutes to 25 minutes to touch, basically. And it's very important, guys, that you place the dough ball over a greased pan and not directly over a pan liner. I forgot to tell you guys that. What happens there with a pan liner, you're drying out your dough. With the greased pan, you have the best of everything, right? You have shortening and emulsification going all the way around the product here. So that's what you want, guys.
That's when I noticed that the pans were like really greased, really sprayed.
Right.
And I'm using the allergen-free one, right? The pan
Right.
grease.
Well, we can use shortening. It really doesn't
Awesome.
matter. You
So
can
what
use Crisco
point-
for that.
what point in time out of the oven can you eat those? Like, can you eat like how you can eat fresh baked bread? Can you? Is there a cooling time for Pan Dulce or anything?
This size Pan Dulce, I would give it at least 10-15 minutes before
10 minutes?
yeah.
Did it set up or something?
Right. No, well, it's not going to break apart here, but it's going to burn the hell out of your hand, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, point blank, huh? It's not gonna. It's just gonna burn the flip out of your hand.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got it. Heat doesn't discriminate either, huh?
No, negative.
Heat does not discriminate. Who you are.
Let me go ahead and show you guys the ingredients, guys. Very important before we break this down. I want to show you guys the mise en place that I set up. We're not going to mix the dough today, but there's some very important pieces to this, guys. And this is mise en place here, guys. Something I learned in French culinary school. And we took the French technique and we're plugging it in here to the bakery. So what's going on here is we have our ingredients laid out here, right? And there's three different pieces here. You have your flour, right? We have 500 grams of flour. We have 240 grams of sugar. You guys have it in cups. I'm telling to you here in sugar only because that's just the way I've been taught, you know, over the years. And I'm telling you here, during the pandemic, I had to learn home baking, a whole different science, guys. So we have the egg, we have the water. The way this works, I typically take the dry yeast and I'm gonna add that to your flour, right? We're gonna mix that up, right? We're gonna blend that together. You can add your sugar to this as well. But what you wanna do is you wanna separate your salt, your cinnamon, and your butter, right? This is a vanilla extract. This can actually go with the water. You're good to go. So we're gonna mix all these components here together, right, guys? So we're gonna separate the cinnamon, the salt, and the butter. We wanna add those after your dough has already developed here. The reason being is because these three ingredients, especially the cinnamon and the salt, they inhibit your gassing activity. So you wanna get a kickstart here. You wanna mix your dough, and you know, if you're gonna be baking at home, buy yourself a thermometer.
Yes.
You wanna start looking at about a good 78 to 82 degree Fahrenheit development here before you add these other ingredients. Because at that temperature, your yeast is already activating.
Can I ask you a question real quick? You mentioned you're using a dry yeast. Obviously, there's a difference between a dry yeast and a wet yeast. Because when I was trained, we had to have a warm water that was, I think, 90 something or less.
Right.
And we put the yeast inside that water, stirred up, and we used that as our liquid content for our cinnamon
That's
rolls.
called an active dry yeast, right?
Ah.
And the difference between active dry yeast and instant dry yeast, guys, is active dry yeast is just the larger granules, and that's what hence the slurry that you need to put together in order for it to begin the activation. Where instant dry yeast is just that. You add it directly to your flour. And then you have fresh yeast, right? So the difference between fresh yeast and dry yeast in general is the dry matter, right? This is about 96% dry matter, 4% water, 2-year shelf life. Your fresh yeast, it's with 67% water. So, and only a 1-month shelf life, and it begins to degrade. So that's really the difference here.
So this amount of ingredients made that dough that we cut up earlier?
Right,
that whole bucket?
That is correct, right.
Wow.
So this is 250 and 250, this is 500 grams. There's 3 cups of flour.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the conversion. I learned it in culinary school, but then I forgot. Then the pandemic came, right? I couldn't even hold teaspoons, guys. I've never baked at home, but here I am now, right? For the home baker, guys.
You know what I think about too, and I'm kind of interested to see the direction Food Network goes after this pandemic. I honestly think they should do shows geared towards the home baker. You know, different things, because Food Network can intimidate a lot of bakers at home, thinking that everything has to be from scratch, and it's great and fantastic, but there's nothing wrong with the box mix or the home baker. What we did during the pandemic, like you said you adapted and you had to change all your stuff and bring it into cups and teaspoons versus grams. Of course, you're used to doing weight, not a dozen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have to have that skill to also know how to break down recipes.
Well, a few things there. That's a great point, Joseph. So we have flour, right? In the bakery, I use high gluten flour for everything, except for the cookies, of course. So now at home, the home baker, we're making it easy for you guys. You're gonna use all-purpose flour for your entire variety of pan mexicano, with the exception of bolillo, telera, and maybe puff dough, which needs a little more strength. But everything else is all-purpose flour, including your cookies, your batters. You can add some cake flour to that, but at the end of the day, there's a process, the creaming of the sugar with the eggs, that really, at the end of the day, your flour is in there just for suspension, right? So, yeah, there it is, broken down for the home baker, guys. I'm looking forward to this. Good times.
Yeah. Yolanda asked, how much icing do you put on top of the bread before baking? The pasta, the sugary part, Yolanda, is that what you're referring to? I believe he said it was about 20-something grams.
It was about 25 grams, so 1 ounce. 1 ounce for one dough ball, for one 60-gram dough ball.
60-gram dough ball,
Right.
so 1 ounce of they call it a pasta, so it's a sugary part.
So basically, it's a 2.5 ounce dough ball for 1 ounce of topping. That's what we're looking at. Let's go ahead and try it.
Let's try it.
So this is actually it's not too hot, so we can touch it. Obviously, I'm touching it. It's a little bit of crumbling here. It's some crumbling going on here on the sides. So these are filled with Baker's Bodega cream cheese icing or filling. I'm sorry.
Look at that.
So I would give these another 10 minutes before we pull them from the rack. But we're gonna go ahead and break these open.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we have what they call a good migajon here.
So soft.
Yeah, very soft. Go ahead, guys.
Now, what is that over there?
No, don't fall for it, Alex. Alex, don't fall for it.
What is that over there?
Don't fall
Are you
for it.
okay? Not working, huh? You gotta get up a little bit earlier. I don't know. She's gonna skip the Bavarian cream. I'm sorry.
That's not Bavarian cream. It's
I don't know
what is it? Cream
Very
cheese?
hot, by the way.
Hot,
It's
what it is, huh?
super hot. Yeah, that's why I didn't touch it, man. Come on now.
What I tell you guys, right? I called it. Let's see. Is it Bavarian? No, rice cream cheese.
It's cream cheese.
You can't even
That's
chew it. You can't even chew it. It's like disintegrates in your mouth. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you.
Just for the sake of test purposes, I think I need another bite. What do you guys think? I think so. So solely for scientific purposes. That's it.
Chocolate cotton candy, guys. There it is.
Oh my God, that's so good.
That chocolate one is dangerous, bro.
Right?
Baptize that one in some
I'm taking one
milk.
for the team. I'm going in.
I'm taking 2 for the team. Wow, that's amazing, bro.
Would you prefer to let it rest a little more, Alex, cooling down?
Absolutely.
And that way it kind of builds up a little bit, how it firms up a little bit. Yeah, I'm telling you, bro, your craft is beyond someone else's. We appreciate everything you're doing for the industry. Everyone out there watching right now, they
Sylvia,
gave
this is for
they,
you.
let me tell you something.
It's for you.
They gave you huge support, bro. You maintained over 300 this whole demo. Oh yeah, and the reason why we wanted to build up because after a series of a few months when you do these demos, he also has his recipe book coming out, and he's going to give his recipes and show you how to make these and that.
Right.
And he's going to break it down into cups and teaspoons, making it with a home baker. So he too also has a recipe book coming out. Let me tell you something. You got thumbs up emojis and hearts up.
Right.
You did good, man.
Right, good times.
You did really, really good.
Thanks
for
a
your
lot, guys.
first demo, man.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, you know what? We're going to go and sign up. You guys are fantastic. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you guys are following him on Instagram, he is at baking.
Evolution.com.
I keep saying Baking Revolution.
Yeah, he wanted to start a revolution.
To the baker people.
Si se puede, right? Si
Revolution.
se puede.
Baking Revolution. You guys are fantastic. You guys have gave us your support. He's going to do his best to try to answer your guys' questions.
Absolutely.
As he can.
Yep.
Other than that, we're gonna, you know what we're gonna do, right? When this goes off,
Yeah.
you know what's going down, right?
Yes,
We got a
sure.
rack full of hot Pan Dulce over here. Did anybody get anything to drink even?
No, because
Negative.
he drank my coffee.
Anyway, you guys have a fantastic day. Have a good night.
All right, thank you so
Peace,
much
guys.
for joining us and please share
Yep.
the video, okay? Thank you.
Group hug, group hug.
Group hugs are good. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in.